Nerdly presents the feed where the reels unwind. Off the real podcast, digging deep in the grind. 80 flicks, low cash, big dreams in the frame. No blockbuster hype, just the realest in the game. Review so sharp, we cut through the noise.
I know that I've said this before. I've said it about 100 times, and I'll probably say it 100 times more. I love watching movies that star people that I love seeing, or have been directed by people that I've loved other movies that they've made. They don't necessarily always have to have been amazing movies that they've made. This movie is called ICK. It's like a horror comedy. It's kind of Invasion of the Body Snatchers mixed with a little bit of Faculty, mixed with all that 2000s pop punk soundtrack that everybody was just loving. The main lead in the movie is Brandon Routh. Big fan of Brandon Routh. Superman Returns. I will wholeheartedly say that I think that movie is a dope-ass Superman movie. Mena Suvari's in there. I kind of love Mena Suvari from the American Pie franchise. Not only that, but this movie is directed by none other than Joseph Kahn. If you don't know who Joseph Kahn is, he directed a movie called Talk back in 2004. Around about the same time, another movie called Biker Boys came out, and it was cockamamie bullshit, batshit, biker bollocks, and I loved it. I was totally there for it. Ice Cube, Martin Henderson. It was an amazingly over-the-top, campy, silly biker movie that I cannot get enough of. I've watched that movie countless times. He did come back in 2017 and made a movie called Bodied, which was all about underground battle rap, which, again, I'm a battle rap fan, so that movie felt like it was made for me. So, yes, that is all to say that I'm a Joseph... Oh, shit! The Power Rangers bootleg universe with Adi Shankar. So Adi Shankar came up with the concept for that Power Rangers movie, and Joseph Kahn directed it. I love that short movie. I would love to see that version. Anyway, so my name is Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Presents Off the Reel. This is an Off the Reel review. I like to talk about everything from the big budget to low budget to no budget. This is definitely a smaller, lower budget independent film, but it does have a budget to it. You can tell. And it's a Joseph Kahn movie, so I was 100% there for that. Let's get into the movie. I'll talk about the plot, I'll talk about the cast, I'll get into what I did and didn't like about the movie. Then I will bring you my Nerdly Presents Off the Reel review rating, which is really a mouthful. I need to chalk that right down or just drop it completely. You can also go over to the website, which is nerdly.co.uk. Somebody else over there may have reviewed this movie. Please check out what they had to say. Then go out and watch the movie anyway, because you shouldn't really care what anybody has to say about the film. Let's get into ICK. So the plot on IMDb tells us that science teacher Hank's life changes when he reconnects with his first love and suspects a new student is his daughter, all while facing an alien threat in their town. So yes, that is pretty much the plot of the movie, but we meet Brandon Routh, who plays Hank, and he's sort of like the all-star quarterback of this small high school team. Up front, there is something not quite right about this town, because there's this alien gooey shit all over the place, but they don't really seem to care. We start the movie with an opening montage showing us sort of Hank's life at that point, because we're going to skip ahead anyway in a minute, and basically we're seeing him with Mena Suvari. He's kind of the homecoming king, she's the homecoming queen, but things sort of start escalating. It looks like he's going to get trapped in the town because she's going to fall pregnant. Then she kind of goes away with this other guy from the town, so they kind of split up, and he suffers this horrendous injury during a game because he slips on the sticky alien gooey shit that I mentioned before and ends up breaking his leg, and then that's his career over. We then cut a good few years ahead, and yes, life has pretty much gone to shit for Hank. He was a janitor for a little while at the school, but now he's a teacher of the science class. He's a little bit interested in what this gooey shit is, which they now call the ICK, but it turns out it's kind of worldwide. Everybody knows about it, and it's everywhere, and people are just living with it in this universe, and they just call it the ICK. When we join everybody and we really get to the point of it, the crux of this movie, it starts to take over people's bodies. It starts to, during the night, sort of infiltrate their minds, Invasion of the Body Snatchers style, and starts really trying to kill people. And then Hank now has to try and survive the night. And it turns out that the new girl in his class may actually be his daughter, Grace might actually be his daughter, so he's going to have to come to terms with that while trying to save her life, and the movie is just nuts. Very, very early 2000s, late 90s, it's very much of that ilk, very Joseph Kahn in style, and has one of the best soundtracks I've heard in quite some time. If you love late 90s, early 2000s pop punk rock, this is the soundtrack for you. All American Rejects, Hoobastank, there's a big Creed moment in the movie. Massive fan of Creed back in the day, so it was great to see that. Hey There Delilah, The Plain White T's, Blink 182, Good Charlotte, Fountains of Wayne, Wheatus, of course, because we have the girl from the Wheatus Teenage Dirtbag video. We have Mena Suvari in there, The Killers, Wolf Mother, Paramore, like, the list is endless. Every time the needle drops in this movie, you have got another kick-ass song. I don't know how they would ever get this soundtrack cleared. I kind of just realized I'm starting to ramble on about the things that I just kind of loved about this film, but we will circle back and talk on cast. Brandon Routh, this is just peak Brandon Routh. This is him just really enjoying what he does. Think about Scott Pilgrim. He had so much fun in that movie. And then, of course, think about things like Superman Returns. This is a great role for Brandon Routh. He doesn't seem to have aged at all in the last 10, 15 years. Just, he seems to still be young-ass Brandon Routh. To the point where I was like, are we using AI here to de-age Brandon Routh and Mena Suvari in this movie? But no, I think the two of them just seem to sleep in cryopods and never seem to age. But as Hank, he is very believable, very lovable, down on his luck. You want him to win in this movie. You want him to get through it. You want to find out if Grace is actually his daughter. And of course, Mena Suvari, as I already mentioned, as Stacy, who is the prom queen, who is also the mother of Grace, and is just kind of really doing her best stuff here. Again, Mena Suvari is an actress that I don't feel has ever had the credit she deserved. She did do American Beauty, which was amazing, and she's great in that film, but then she's just sort of like trundled along and done her thing and got on in life with the movie career, and I've enjoyed watching her and stuff, and in this I really enjoyed seeing her again. But that is the whole point. Everybody is putting in a fantastic little role. Everybody fully embraces what this movie is, and what this movie is just absolute bonkers. That's the best thing about it. If you want to talk about nostalgia, you want to talk about nostalgia feel and member berries, this film has that all over. Whether it's intentional or not, I don't know. I kind of feel like it was. But this is Joseph Kahn just having fun, but also making somewhat of a statement in certain moments. Like, there are points where, like, the National Guard, the government, come into this town and they screech the movie to an absolute halt to, like, show you that they're going to come in and do this. But then, like, we're not supposed to listen to them. The town doesn't really listen to them. And I genuinely feel this is, like, some sort of shot at COVID. It's some sort of shot at the social media. It's some sort of shot at the social construct of where we're at today, but they're doing it slyly in this weird little comedy that felt like Joseph Kahn was really trying to say something with this movie, but also didn't want you to think too hard about what he was trying to say. He just wanted you to enjoy what was happening, and I bloody well did. Malina Pauli Weissman, who played Grace, Hank's maybe daughter, she is actually really awesome in this movie. I genuinely got a kick out of this actress. Not somebody that I feel like I've seen in anything else, really. Reminded me kind of a Clea Duvall or an Ali Lata from back in the day, those kind of roles. Genuinely just thought Grace was a cool ass character, and the way she shot down everything that was just old about this movie in a new kind of way, I loved that. I really did love that. I'm going to move on from my cast and crew, but I already feel like I've talked about things that I did and didn't like, and that is the music is awesome. I think the CGI, the VFX, not amazing, but pretty good. The comedy just works on certain levels. Okay, not everybody's going to love it. It does feel like it caters to a very particular audience, and not everybody's into that kind of comedy. I quite liked it because it felt like it was knocking on old movies that I used to love, but also knocking on new movies movies and the way we are now. So I kind of just got on board with that from the start. But I feel like I'm predetermined to love a Joseph Kahn movie at this point. He just makes weird little films that I enjoy. Talk is one of those films that I genuinely feel like should have been a massive blockbuster. It was never going to be, but probably should have been. And it's not even a guilty pleasure for me, it's just a pleasure. I genuinely love that movie. I love Body. It is going to find its audience because it's almost like a trauma style movie, but I really wish it just was that little bit more and didn't just live within festivals and word of mouth. I really kind of do wish it was that little bit more, but at the same time, it gets to be my thing. I get to talk about it with a certain group of people that are going to find the movie, and then they're going to find this review through finding that movie, and when they watch my review without seeing the movie, they're going to be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Because I am just rambling at this point. But honestly, it's a fun, silly movie that doesn't take itself too serious, knows exactly what it is, and knows exactly who the audience is, which is me, and others like me, and plays into all of those things that that audience is going to love, which again is me. There are some things that are quite wrong with it in terms of like it goes on a little bit too long. It doesn't really tell you anything about the lore of the aliens or the ICK or whatever it is, but at the same time I feel like I didn't need to, because it felt like I'd been plopped into this like really gnarly kind of retro episode of Erie, Indiana or something like that, one of my favorite TV shows of all time. This could easily just fall into that sort of bracket, so it's great for that as well. You know what, I'm just going to get into my final Nerdly Presents Off the Reel review rating, because I just feel like I'm going to go around the houses on this. I think you should absolutely check this movie out. I think people will really enjoy this movie if they just embrace what it is and what it's not trying to be and what it actually wants to be. There is a message for you to see there. Joseph Kahn is definitely poking the bear a little bit with this film. Is it my number one Joseph Kahn movie? No, it kind of isn't. Like, Talk is still right up there, Bodied is still right up there, and that Power Rangers short probably does beat this film. But this film was a lot of fun, a lot of stupidity, a lot of hijinks, and just memories. When that Creed song hits towards the end of the movie, when that song hits, that was my childhood. That was my teenage formative years right there. So I am going to give this movie a 4 out of 5, which is probably a bit mental considering the way I've gone on about it. You maybe were expecting a 5 out of 5, but this movie does have room to grow. It does have things that it could have done a little bit better. The plot-wise, it's not that much of a plot, to be fair. It's kind of threadbare. The acting-wise is not absolutely amazing, but they all know what they're doing and they all know their parts and their roles. I do feel the older actors, in terms of Brandon Routh, Mena Suvari, they get the memo a little bit more than the kids get it, but I guess that's also kind of the point because they're older, so it's sort of like, you guys are just like 80 years old and we don't really want to do what you want to do. Like, I'm not talking about actors, I'm talking about the characters. Don't get me wrong, I'm talking about the characters. Just check it out. It's a fun movie. It is silly, it's stupid. If you like Talk, if you remember Talk, if you like Bodied, if you like all that good stuff, if you're a fan of The Faculty, if you're the fan of 2000s rock pop, alt pop, all that good stuff, you will get a kick out of this movie. It's so much fun, and I'm going to leave you with a 4 out of 5. I thought ICK was fun. It didn't give me the ick. It was just a cool-ass movie. Yep, my name has been Kevin Halden. This is Nerdly Presents Off the Reel. This is an Off the Reel review. Please do come back again for the next video, the next review. For now, 4 out of 5. If I don't see you in the cinema, I'll see you in the next review.